live on Periscope. Just gonna make sure I can hear you well. Yes, go ahead.
Good morning, pretty people. How are you? It is Tuesday, October 11th, 2016. I'm going to say it again. Another absolutely splendid day in New York City. It almost looks like that is a green screen behind me, but it is not blue painted on blue. It is actually a beautiful New York City day, and a quiet day. Not much going on. I will tell you, and I'm excited to say this in front of Lance. Lance spent all day yesterday singing the praises of the Toronto Blue Jays, to which I dismissed and poo-pooed him. But I read an article this morning, because I do my research and my homework, on Toronto. And do you know that Toronto is considered one of the, or there was an article written about how Toronto is actually one of the best city in Canada, but it's one of the more sought after destinations in the world.
Have you ever been to Toronto?
I'm sure I have.
It's a beautiful place.
But I heard like the streets are like, you could eat off the streets. It's so fashion forward. It's so technology forward. All these different things. I was like dumbfounded. Plus they've got this baseball team that's doing well. But I think they wrote the article because everyone here in this country says, should this candidate win the election, I'm moving to Canada. So granted, 99.999% of the time that doesn't actually happen, but the 0.001% of the time that people are unhappy with their candidate and they move to Canada, generally it's Toronto. So not sure if that's going to happen here. But if that's the case, Lance will be happy to take you by the hand and show you around. He's obsessed with Toronto. He's more obsessed with the Blue Jays, who are they in the World Series yet or not yet?
No, they play Cleveland.
Oh yes, Cleveland beat Boston last night.
And actually, I used to live in Ohio, so...
Oh, that's tough for you.
It's all good.
I watched that game last night. I don't know why.
It's nice to see Ohio actually Cleveland had...
No, this I'm not going to do. You wanted to bring me on for your little Toronto thing, fine. But now you're Cleveland's the best place in the world.
Columbus.
I understand, but this isn't all about...
Columbus, Ohio is actually the best place in the world.
Okay, I can't fall in love with every city that you have had some sort of historical presence in. I can't do it, Lance. I'm on board with Toronto now. You're going to have to give me some time for Cleveland. I just can't do it.
Oh, I'm not pushing Cleveland. I'm pushing Ohio.
O-H-I-O. My buddy Matt. Doesn't Matt go to school in Ohio, Matt Lauer?
I don't know much about that.
Yeah,
Maybe.
I think he did. I don't think he just recently graduated or went back and graduated or got an honorary degree or something.
Oh, Ashley actually is bringing in the Cubs. Ashley, just so you're okay, you understand, I was born in Chicago, so...
Lance, literally, pick a state, a city, and stick to it.
I was born in Chicago,
okay,
the Midwest, and happens to be that the Blue Jays have, one of the greatest baseball players ever played.
I will just tell you this: Lance was born in one of the coldest cities in the country. He is now
My pediatrician was actually Emmanuel's dad.
Emmanuel.
Rahm Emanuel and all that.
All the Emanuel brothers.
Their dad was my pediatrician.
Get out of here.
Yeah. That's my claim to fame.
What?
No, I mean, before I knew you.
Before you knew me. Before you did the show, obviously.
Right, now
Crazy.
I have another claim to fame.
But so Chicago is the city you were born in, and Columbus is the city you grew up in, and Toronto is the city you now do some work in, and these are all freezing cold, amazing but freezing cold cities. Why don't you come back to? I'm going to take the show on the road to my city where I was born. Kingston, Jamaica.
We should go
home
there.
Home to the sun, sand, surf, and a little ganja. And not that I know. And there's nothing bad about being in the Caribbean.
Yeah,
unless Matthew
Tay actually did. I think Tay did a show.
Lance is very good friends with Tay Diggs, who should come on sometime.
I actually work with Tay. Yeah.
Work with Tay, and you're friends with him.
And I'm friends with him. But Tay did I think it was Jamaica last year. We did something there.
That story really sucked, Lance.
It's not the first time.
Let me tell you the story Lance just told. So Tay Diggs did something
in Jamaica. We should go there. He went there so we should go there. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I was born in Jamaica.
Right.
So that's
we heard about that yesterday.
More of a connection than him having done
Absolutely.
something.
When was the last time you did some work from Jamaica?
Lester and I went down to Jamaica a few years ago.
How'd you guys like it?
We had so much fun. Lester is, and I say this all the time, people were like, oh, did you get along with Lester? And I'm going to tell you a great story. When I first started the Today Show, Lester couldn't stand me. He admits it. I didn't understand what was happening. Everything, top to bottom, left to right, north, south, east, and west. He did not like anything about me, but it's fine. It's because there was chaos on the Weekend Today show.
More chaos than
Campbell
they have
Brown had left. They gave Amy Robach had the show. Then I came in, and I look, when people give you something, you take it. You don't say no thanks, I'm not going to do that. They asked me to do the Sunday show. They asked her to do the Saturday show. It just caused a lot of drama and chaos, and it wasn't fair to anybody.
Well, your brother said yesterday that drama tends to follow you.
Yeah, my brother. It does. It does. You'll see. Right now, you like me, Lance. In a week and a half, there'll be drama between us.
Why
There'll
do you
be
think
some
I
sort
like
of
you?
drama. Of course, you have to like me.
I love
me
you.
for
I
4
love
hours a day. So Lester was put in a difficult position to just sit next to Phil and the host, and I was the Phil and the host at the time, and we never really got along. And we would sit there, and we were like, these were our faces. They were like facing out the entire time, and we'd get through an entire show. But that only lasted a month or two, because I like to say I'm like the way Costanza said. He's like that commercial, like Menon, where it just grows on you. All of a sudden, it's like Costanza, like good or bad, I'll grow on you. That's just what I do. Like, love me or hate me, like you're gonna be with me one way or another. So we like fell in love, like we fell in friend with each other, and we became inseparable.
How
Our
does he
offices
feel
were
about
right
the
next to each
Saturday
other.
Night Live depiction of him? Does he like that? Or
Oh, he loves it. It's flattering. I bet you in some weird way Donald Trump loves Alex's depiction of him. Huge. China. China. Huge. Anyway, Lester and I became my closest friend. Lester was easily my closest friend at the Today Show. We like gossiped, and we like went on diets together. And they came to us and they said, Jenna, you're from Jamaica. Lester, your grandmother is from Jamaica. Why don't you guys both go back down there on a work vacation, and you go see where your roots are, and you have some fun. And we did exactly that.
that's awesome.
It was a good time. We had a lot of fun. We went on like catamarans, and I went back and saw where I was born. We actually lived across the street from Bob Marley. My family
You
lived
did?
literally across the street. Like, you walked out of our apartment complex in Maryfield, and on Hope Road, right across the street, there is the Bob Marley estate. And we spoke to the landlord, who was like 105, who was there when I was a baby there, and would say they used to call the police and complain about this lunatic next door that was always playing these loud, weird music all the time. And that weird guy was Bob Marley. Isn't that funny?
That's awesome.
So anyway, we had a lot of fun
We
down
should
there.
have Ziggy Marley on.
We should. We
Good
should.
touch
I
with
only
him.
have one of Ziggy's albums. I should have more.
Should do the Jamaica thing with him.
I would love to do the Jamaica thing with anyone out there who happens to be Jamaican, or likes Jamaica, or has flown over Jamaica, whatever it is. I'm a big-
Actually, I forgot to get the good mornings.
Oh, let's get some good mornings in
Good
there.
morning from Martha Martinez. She
Hey,
says,
Martha.
Good morning, Good morning, Jenna.
Good morning, Martha.
Debbie Elson says amazing weather in New York City. Good morning from Indianapolis, Jenna.
The best.
Vicky Craft
best.
says hi, Jenna.
Hey, how are you, Nikki?
Debbie Elson says Cubs fan here. Tough night last night. They lost in 13 innings.
Wait, Lance, just break it down for me. So the Blue Jays are going to play Cleveland.
Blue Jays are playing Cleveland
in
the final series, essentially,
Okay.
for the American League, the championship series in the American League.
the ALCS.
The ALCS.
Okay, and on the NLCS,
and the
it's
NLC,
going to be.
it's they're still playing. It's Washington against the Dodgers. I think it's 2-1 there.
Okay.
And it's 2-1 in favor of the.
Oh, the Boston
Nationals.
series was just over really fast. That's why
Right, they
looked
both
so
swept.
good.
Cleveland
gotcha.
and Toronto both
Okay.
swept, and it's 2-1. The Cubs are now up 2-1 on the Giants.
Gotcha.
But
Okay.
they lost in 13 innings last
Well, all
night.
they had to do was get that guy back on the mound. What's his name?
Arietta?
No, the
Oh,
Giants pitcher
The Giants
that
guy is
destroyed the
Mad
Mets.
Bum. I'm thinking
Bamgarner.
Madison Bamgarner. I'm feeling like he pitched
Bumgarner.
last night. Bumgarner. I feel like
Anyway.
he pitched last night.
Okay, let's say hello to more people.
George Bertram says, good morning, Jenna,
Good
from
morning.
Connecticut.
Hey, George.
Looking forward to another great
He was
show.
here yesterday.
Yes.
Thank you, George.
Jan Meyer says, hello, Jenna, from Southern California.
Hi, Jen.
Kathy K says, hi, it's Kathy K again from Hershey.
Oh,
Do you do this
Kathy K. We're
she's
going to
asking,
Hershey.
do you do this every day at 11 a.m.?
Every
Yes.
day at
every
11
weekday,
a.m.
Every weekday.
Every weekday.
We're going to figure out how to do weekend, Jenna.
Never
soon.
going to happen.
And it won't be
You get a
with you.
hologram.
Maybe
It
we'll
won't
get,
be with me. It'll be another
well, maybe
girl
we'll
named
find
Jenna.
somebody
Who
somewhere.
wants to do the show?
There's a whole
for
bunch
me?
of weekend people. I don't know. You
Yeah.
have a big weekend audience.
I worked
don't know.
weekends my whole life. I think I need
Kathy
a break.
said she enjoyed your show yesterday.
Thanks,
Thank
Kathy.
you.
Thank you.
We're going to be visiting you, Kathy, in Hershey
In
sometime.
Hershey, yeah.
Elton John just gave a concert there. I was contemplating going. Terry Littler says, good morning from Tempe, Arizona.
Good
Jan
morning.
Meyer says, sundown Yom Kippur. Jan, have
Yep.
an easy fast.
Have an easy fast, Jen. Knock 'em dead.
Ashley Fox says, Go Cubs. George Bertram says Pittsburgh, Lance. I guess he's saying Pittsburgh is as good as... Well, Connor was there this weekend.
Yeah.
Apparently he didn't get a date. Or maybe he did. That's why he's not here right now.
I think he just doesn't want to talk about it.
Robert Farrell says, hey, Jenna, great show.
Thanks, Robert.
Tracy McCann Joyner says, good morning from Florida. Kelsey Massey says, hey, Jenna.
Hi.
Vicky Kraft is here again with her Roll Tide Roll.
Go Tide. Alabama.
Jan Myers says...
Isn't that Alabama?
Alabama, yeah. Jan Myers says, visit Omaha. It's a nice place to visit.
The only thing I know about Omaha is that is like Peyton Manning's favorite word. Omaha. That's my like Nebraska reference. And if I still worked in sports, I would do a story on that every single year.
I feel like Warren Buffett owns the minor league team in Omaha.
Wouldn't be surprised.
That's the Royals minor league team, something like that. Jan Meyer says, no, it's freezing. Kimberly Stafford Stevenson says, the warmer the better.
It's nice. It's nice out here in New York. I don't know where you guys are, but...
Melissa Walker says, miss you on the Today Show, Jenna.
I know, I miss you too.
Cindy Peters says,
a lot of drama at the Today Show these days, right?
Jan Meyer says, boy, I know the Today Show was wishing they had you back now. They never should have let you go.
A lot of drama now at the Today Show.
Vicky Kraft says, hi, Debbie. Tony Kendall says, how did Jenna like working with Erica Hill and Dylan Dreyer on the Today Show, if it's okay to ask?
Yeah, of course. Thank you for asking. They're great. We were awesome. Love those girls. We had such a great weekend team. When it was like Lester and Erica and me and Dylan, we were honestly, we were like a tight-knit group of four. And everything we did was funny, and everything we did was fun, and we just had an absolute blast. We had a great team. Nobody bothered us. We were the weekend... like the stepchildren. Literally no one from the weekday show ever had anything to do with us, and we loved it that way. And then Lester went and got all successful, and I went and decided to do something else, and Erica went to CNN, and Dylan's gonna have a baby, and everyone had life get in the way, but we had a great group. I love those guys. Robert
Farrell, who's a regular commentator here, says he died on my birthday. I'm assuming he meant Bob Marley.
No woman, no cry, Robert.
Elizabeth Tate says, good morning, Jenna. Lynn Hayden says, good morning from Denver.
Good morning from Denver. What time is it in Denver? 9 o'clock, right?
9 o'clock, yeah. Should be.
Yeah.
Kimberly Stevenson says, good morning.
Hey, guys.
Jen, I'm not going to go there.
Is it a bad comment? Read the bad comments.
She said Erica couldn't have been easy.
Oh, Erica was very easy. Erica was actually incredibly sweet. You should read the good comments and the bad comments, because I spent all my life trying to ignore the bad comments, so now I'm all into being real, unless it's really bad.
Okay, so I'll try to do a better job editing.
Erica was actually great. You know, there were a lot of, let me just tell you this, there were a lot of rumors at that show, and I lived through them. There were articles that came out in the Post, in the Daily News, National Enquirer, that were just blatant lies. Like there was one that came out, and I still hold on to it because it's hilarious, in the National Enquirer, that has me and Matt Lauer having had a very interesting affair. Like, could that be any less true? No. But then there were people.
Why? Because wouldn't it have been interesting?
It was interesting, but it just wasn't true.
I thought that was the interesting part. You had a problem.
I did spread the rumor.
I just wanted to be sure.
No, I spread the rumor that he was the father of our baby, just as something funny, because Steph and I were having a baby, and there were people that picked it up as if there's a remote chance that could have been true. It was not true. But the best one was that
we never got into that.
We can talk about that another time.
Okay.
But and I will talk about it. But
Olivia was asking me that the other day.
Who the father is. Yeah, a lot of people ask. Young people don't always know how two women can make a baby. I had a hard time knowing. I had to Google it. There was an article, I just want to say this, that came out that said I got reprimanded by NBC Brass for the way I treated Erica. It was so not true. It was 100%, I'm telling you, it was not true. I loved Erica. Like, we actually got on great. It wasn't her fault that she came in and replaced me on the weekends, and I went and did news reading. It turned out to be the best decision, and it was so fun. I was able to, it freed me up to do all these really great things. That's the truth. There's no reason to lie at this point. So feel free to ask questions, and Lance will, if he wants.
Lance is going to struggle here again with his reading. I need to go to a better reading program. Carolyn Tui Pesci Sloman.
I would think if you can't do the last name, I would say just go into that
Carolyn.
First name.
Okay,
So I don't.
Carolyn, I can handle. Wish you were on the Today Show. Miss you.
I miss you too, Carolyn.
Holly says, "Morning, Jenna."
Morning, Holly.
Rachel,
What's Holly's last name? Is it Holly?
Santerre.
Okay, that's not the one I'm thinking of. But hi, Holly.
Rachel Arcos says, good day from San Antonio, Texas.
Good day from San Antonio.
Sarah Dunn-Simpolsky, who I messed up her name the other day. Good morning from way upstate New York.
Where? But hi, Sarah.
She said way upstate New York. I don't know where
like
she was.
Upstater than Rochester?
I think Buffalo. Something around there. Gwen says, Wagwan. Big up, Jenna.
Yeah, there you go.
More. I don't understand that.
Nice.
Chris McKenzie says, good morning, Jenna. I have lost 130 pounds, and thanks for the fitness inspiration. You are great.
Love you, Chris. I'm so psyched for you. Good for you.
Nick says TQ. I don't know what that reference is. Maybe you do. Jan says, go Dodgers Blue. Robert Farrell says, Bob Marley died on his 22nd birthday.
All right.
Pat McCarthy Edwards says, hey from Dallas. Kimberly Stevenson says, Florida. Rebecca McLean says, Lance Cam. I don't know what that means.
Well, they want a camera on you, probably. So
well,
all they do is they hear your voice. They don't even see who you are.
Yeah, well, my voice is the better part of me. Jan Meyer says, love you always, following you for years. Keep it going.
Thank you.
Michelle says, morning from Mooresville, North Carolina.
To the lady that lost 130 pounds, how did you do it?
That was a man, I think.
Oh, okay. To the guy who lost whoever lost 130 pounds. I'm curious how you did it. Because it's actually harder, some people find, to lose 5 pounds than it is to lose 130 pounds if you're just going based on eating less and moving more. So I'm just curious how you do it. And do people agree with me? Isn't it harder to lose like the last 2 or 3 pounds than it is to lose an enormous amount of weight? I found that after
I actually found that your diet was the easiest thing I've ever done.
Yeah, but you are one of the strong, like you goof around and everything, but you happen to be one of the strongest, most willful people I know. And you commit to something and you do it. And that's what I love about Lance. I mean, I love people that commit to something and then blinders on and just go do it. And then if you get it done and you're finished, then move on to something else. I love that about you. And,
thank you.
I mean, no, look, I say this all the time. The world is honestly divided into 2 groups of people. The ones that get it done and the ones who don't. The ones that get it done find a way. No, and they just plow through the nose. And the ones that can't get it done are the ones that, no. Oh, okay.
Oh, the ones that are deaf.
Could possibly be.
Actually, Steve Jobs actually, he had like this, they said he had like a force field around him where just like like anything negative just like didn't register, didn't register. Like even when he was saying something that was false. And it's actually kind of interesting when you sort of look at Trump.
Yeah.
A little bit like there's a little bit of that you kind of see in Trump, where it's just like I don't think he processes or listens to the negativity.
Negative.
Yeah.
People say, okay, so when you're
Sorry for bringing that up.
Yeah, no, I understand that, but I will just tell you this: like we got a lot of don't listen to the negative stuff or don't read your Twitter feed when you're on the air. But we would do that at the end of a commercial break at the Today Show. The first thing we all did was this. We all got out our Twitter feed and we would read, and it would be like, Jenna, how could you say something so stupid? Or, Lester, I actually don't even love that tie. Or, Erica, like, that made no sense. I mean, but people got much meaner than that. I mean, a lot of people got really nasty, and people would say, well, don't listen to it. It's a really hard thing to do. So for someone like Steve Jobs to create a force field around him that was able to deflect negativity and not let it seep through, that's an unbelievable trait. It's not an easy thing at all. You try to penetrate the negativity and get to the other side, and a lot of people can't do it. And it oftentimes is a difference between people that succeed and people who don't. Are there people that can take?
I'll find the exact reference in the language.
Do that.
It was in that book about Jobs.
But wait, can I tell you guys a story real quick? Actually, I could do it.
It's your show.
I guess I could tell you a story. It is my show. I just want to tell you a story about how I got my second job. And if anyone has a similar story, I would love to hear it. But I was an intern at the NBC affiliate in Binghamton. I was a sportscaster, and I was working there, and everything was great. And another time, I will tell you the situation I had with our news director there. To say we butt heads is, what are you laughing at?
It's actually cool. So when people are putting up hearts on the Periscope, it actually looks like it's coming out of the coffee cup.
Oh, that's nice. Like, but what if I take it away?
Then it won't look like it. But no, it's actually like right where you had it. It's so funny.
Oh, good.
That was
well,
really
so listen
cool.
to this. So I didn't get along with my news director. He had a real hard time with me. It's a whole weird sexual harassment thing that we'll get into another time. No one needs to know about it now. Let's
you were
just
harassing him, or he was harassing?
No, it was not harassing him. He was 1,000% harassing me. One day when we talk about sexual harassment, I'll talk about that story. Regardless, it was time for me to leave. and he did some really horrible things, like burned my resume tape, and I had nothing to send out to get jobs, so I was really working with nothing. The year was 1998. We were all using VHS tapes, and I was a machine. Like, when I'm motivated to do something, there's not a person, machine, robot, tweet, there's nothing that can stop me from doing it. When I'm not as motivated, then sure, anyone can be influenced into or out of anything. I was determined to get another job. I turned my apartment when it was ready to go, when the harassment was so bad that I needed to go find another job. I turned my apartment into like a what do you call it, like a factory almost, with like a conveyor belt and everything. Look, it was 1998. I had my printer. No, I had my computer, my dial-up, AOL dial-up, with my printer, with a whole stack I got at Walmart of the plastic VHS covers, with a whole stack of tapes. And I had a big map of the United States. And I had pins. And there was a website at the time, I don't know if it's still there, it was tvjobs.com.
Okay.
Yeah, so you would go on there and they would tell you all the jobs that were open in the country, TV jobs. Every day I picked 3, and I took 3 little push pins and I pushed them all in. And then I wrote, "Dear whoever may concern," and I wrote my cover letter, printed that out, printed out the resume, took my resume, put it on the VHS tape, which I had to do at 3 in the morning because nobody would allow me to dub my VHS resumes onto those tapes. I stuck it in an envelope and off to the post office, and every day I sent out 3 resume tapes. Now it's all on links. And for an entire year, I ended up sending out 70 tapes. 70. And over the course of, I think it was 8 months, every time I got a rejection letter, I got 69 rejection letters. 69. How do I know this? Because every single one, some were postcards, some were actual letters saying that they didn't like the way my mouth was, they didn't like how nasally my voice was. I just don't have what it takes to make it in TV.
How nasally is your voice?
You what?
Is your voice nasally? Or?
Yeah, a lot of people tell me my voice is nasally. It's hard for me to hear what I sound like. I am a little annoyed sometimes at my voice. Regardless, I put it on a huge bulletin board. Every no became something that fueled me to keep going. Every no. And it felt like I went to the mailbox every day and it was a postcard or a letter saying, "I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry." 69 no's. Did I stop? I easily could have stopped at 69. I could have stopped at 60, 50, 40, 30, 20, 10, or gotten out of the business because I would have gotten another job doing something else. But I knew that I could do this. So on the 70th one, I sent it it was a weekend shooting job in Rochester, New York. I sent it off. I got a call back. She said, "Listen, it's a part-time job. You would have to shoot a lot." I didn't really want to shoot. The cameras were so heavy. Everything was like lopsided because it was too heavy for me. And if you really, really want this, you really need to come up and we have to meet tomorrow morning. I was like, "You tell me what time." Like, I was committed. She gave me a time. She said 9 a.m. I drove from Binghamton up to Rochester. I took the next day off. He almost fired me for doing this. Drove up to Rochester, got out of the car. Cars weren't what they were today. Closed the door. Obviously, I locked the keys in the car. That was just what I did. But I'm not surprised. Along with my bag, went in, knocked out the interview. It was fantastic. She's like, "Can I walk you to the car?" I'm like, "You know what? I love this city. I'm just going to walk around," because I couldn't go back to the car that she saw I was locked out of. So I had to walk around the block until I saw her pull away, and then I had to go flag down a cop, and they had to open the car for me. Everyday occurrence for me. Nothing new. That's not part of the story. Needless to say, I ended up getting that job. I worked part-time for 2 weeks. And then within a month, I was anchoring the weekend show, and from there I went on to go to whatever it was, Philadelphia, and then I came to New York. But that was my first foray into the world of no's and how challenging life can be in the big bad world, because it is easy actually to get into college, and easy to get your part-time job, and easy to even get your first job if it's a sort of a dinky job. But this is a tough business, and you have to have thick skin, and you have to want it worse and more than the 400,000 people who are willing to jump into your spot if you're like, "Ugh, that's too hard for me. I don't feel like getting my hands dirty." Because there's a line of million people deep that are more than happy to get their hands dirty, and you have to know it. And if you want something badly enough, you go get it. And that's just the way it is. No one's handing anyone anything. I will tell you, and you don't see Lance often, Lance is one of the most successful people I know. You wouldn't know it talking to him because all he talks about is Toronto. But he is. And one day he's going to be sitting right here and he's going to tell you sort of the story of his life, the way he sat down and pitched me the story of his life when I first met him. And I fell madly head over heels in a lifelong partnership with him because of how successful he is and how driven he is. I love that about people. So that was my. And one day I'll tell you the backstory of why I was so motivated to get out.
And all I
with this
heard
guy.
during your thing was, oh my gosh, I'm going to have to get married 70 times.
Someone said that?
No, that's why I was here.
Oh, yeah, of course.
To my 70th marriage.
Right. But let me tell you, I have this fantasy of, and I didn't, again, I know I keep saying I'm going to tell you the story about that horrible news director, but I have a fantasy about me being as successful as I can possibly be, whatever it is. Maybe it was the Today Show, and maybe that's as successful as it gets. Maybe this show turns into this next big, huge thing. Who knows? Probably not, Lance. No offense. But I want to, like, walk. Like, I have this thing of, like, walking to the front or walking into the studio or, like, someone doing my hair and makeup, and somewhere off in the distance I see this guy, and I say, so, remember when you treated me like crap and you told me I was never going to make it and nobody was going to hire me, and if they did, it was pity charity case. Like, remember all those things? I have this, like, ridiculous running list of all the people that were trying to convince me that I was never going to make it. Anyway, it's fun to, like, think about that. But yeah, that's.
So you're driven more. Are you driven more by the negativity or the positivity?
I'm driven more by negativity. I love the positivity, and I think it's great. But I think the negativity gets you to try to be better and work harder, and the positivity
So in a way,
lets
this
you
guy
relax a little bit.
is responsible for a lot of your success.
No, not responsible. No, not that guy. Most of the time, I would say I understand where your point is, but this guy was not responsible for that. This guy, I don't know. I had a hard time with it.
Got it.
It was tough.
All right. So
Who else is in the house?
We have. Oh my gosh, I'm way behind. Jim says from Tupelo, Mississippi says morning.
Morning, Jim.
Debbie says thoughts on Billy Bush.
I don't know if Billy's coming back. I got to tell you, I don't know. I don't. I think NBC is in a tough position. I think Billy's in a tough position, and I'll just say I feel bad for everybody involved.
Jan says not like that now. So boring on weekend NBC.
Love you, Jan.
Carmina says, and hi from the Philippines.
Hi, how you doing?
Kimberly Staffa Stevenson says love you. So much fun to watch you.
Thank you so much.
Nick says you beautiful.
Thank you, Nick.
Maureen says I love your honesty. Lorianne says hi Jenna, good morning from Rhode Island. Great views you have.
Yeah, it's nice here. It's refreshing to be this honest, Lance. I couldn't do it.
Yeah, no, it's honesty's. There's probably not.
Yeah, but nobody in TV is. I mean, no one can really be. There's no platform where you can really truly be honest and answer any question.
Right. No, it's a guarded environment.
It's very guarded.
Jan Meyer says thank you for explaining the truth about Erica because I always did love the show.
Yeah, it was a good show. We were good people. I'm telling you the truth.
Martha says morning from South Carolina.
Hello, South Carolina.
Sarah says Messina, New York is where she is, upstate New York. We had that question earlier.
Okay.
Pamela Storm says morning, Jen. I love your fitness tips.
Thank you. What's your favorite one?
Charles says good morning from Palm Coast, Florida. Everyone on here knows that you're a good person and very truthful.
Thank you, Charles.
Julie Albano says, continue your awesomeness. Love what you are doing.
Thank you.
Kimberly says, I love that you read the comments.
Kimberly.
I do a great job reading those comments.
Lance and I go back and forth on this. But Lance wants to read the comments for 4 straight hours. I would like to get a word in edgewise. So we're coming
I
to
think that our
happy medium.
Yeah, I think our audience is a big asset.
Okay.
I like engaging
So do
with
I.
them. Lisa Little Maxwell says, Jenna, miss you on TV. We need you back. Lisa, we're here.
We're
I'm
right
going to
here,
answer
Lisa.
for her. Sarah Dunn says, there's a bridge to Canada in my town. Debbie Elson, who's obviously one of the smartest people I know, says, we love you, Lance.
All right, easy on the Lance comments.
Every once in a while.
Easy.
Kimberly says your bracelet is beautiful. We've had discussions about
Thank
that
you.
bracelet. That's the one.
Steph got it for me, and every day I go home thinking I'm going to ask her where she got it, and I forget. It's really cool, isn't it? Of course, I can't read it. I also can't read if it's upside down or right side up.
Stacy Barnett says, yes, it's hard to lose the last 5-10 pounds.
Yeah.
Actually, I could combine that with the next comment. Patty Sanderson Cattell is heading to New York City to run the New York City Marathon. Patty, reach out to us. Let's get you in and around here somehow. Hope the weather holds. Looks beautiful today.
I love the New York City Marathon. I always have a thing about the New York City Marathon. I have a little... when I do my, like, fake stand-up comedy, I don't really do it. It's always about the marathoners, and I'm not a runner. And so, obviously, like... I'm not a good runner. I have arthritis in my knee from playing volleyball for years, so I can't run more than 5-6 miles. That's it. So I have to have a little problem with the ones that can go out there and run 26.2. So my thing with the marathoners is, like, I have an issue. I take issue with the ones that when you finish, they wrap you in the tinfoil to like keep you insulated and warm. And I get it, and that's important. But 8 hours later, to go into a Starbucks and see everyone sitting there with the tinfoil wrapped around them, and it's literally like a wave of tinfoil. Like, it's already, you can take it off. Or
well, some of those people are just finishing.
Or if the race is on Sunday, by Wednesday, don't be wearing your medals anymore. Like, everybody gets a medal. I get it.
I actually found medals. When I moved the other day, I found my finisher 1991 shirt. From the marathon.
No, if you want to wear a T-shirt a couple days later, that's cool. But you don't have to walk into work with your medal on by Wednesday.
Walk.
Like, I think it's a little too much.
When I did that, I was just like, it was insane.
Anyway,
Patty, good luck with it.
Yes,
write your name. Write your name, Patty. Just I don't know if this is your first marathon or not, but write your name on your shirt so that people, when you're running by, they can say, scream. "Go Patty, go Patty, go." That was actually a big help when I was running.
I don't know if you guys know this, but Lance is now up to time 22 out of 1,000 that he will tell us all that he ran the New York City Marathon in 91.
Yeah.
No, it's actually really hard, and I
was back in the day. There weren't that many people running.
Now there's like 75,000 people.
A friend of mine ran it when he was 10. Actually, Andy Lassner, who is the producer or something on the Ellen Show.
Wait, I know Andy Lassner. Do you know Andy Lassner?
Andy was the first person that worked for me. Andy was he was my first intern.
Stop it! Okay, yeah. We have to talk. How do we not? Because you were going to say that. I was about to interrupt you and say, oh, you know who else is named Andy Lassner?
I actually just saw his brother Jamie at the Israel.
Okay, we're going to talk because he made my entire life when he once tweeted back something that I wrote. I showed it to everyone at the Today Show. I was like, you guys, you're not going to believe this.
Yeah, Andy worked. He was at NYU, but before he worked.
You see how successful Lance is?
Yeah, because I was working back in the day. I've been working forever. But he was interning for me at this hedge fund I was working at.
Well, we should say Andy Lassner is now one of the executive producers of the Ellen DeGeneres Show.
Right, and he was interning for me and for Maureen Downey Jr. Maureen Downey Jr. had some sort of a show, and he was learning the ropes at the show there.
Not some sort of a show. He had a show.
Yeah, he had a show, and that was early in the whole talk show thing.
It's fantastic.
It's been nice to see Andy's career go.
I've been sucking up to Andy Lassner for like 4 years now, but he refuses to have me on.
Well, we followed him earlier today, actually, on the Periscope. That's why it was in my mind. Martha Stollard, yes, I've lost 22 years ago, but I've been stuck. The ones that get it done at my gym, we call badasses because they handle stuff and don't want it.
Pro badass.
Chris McKenzie, he's the one who lost 100 plus pounds. I lost it by getting off the couch and started walking and then running and started cooking instead of eating fast food. Portion control and discipline was the key, and now I am a personal trainer in Atlanta, Georgia, and I've helped others lose weight.
What a success story.
So, wow, that's excellent.
I like it. Congratulations.
Martha says, way to go, Chris. Elizabeth Tate says, good job, Chris.
Yes.
Chad McMurray says, what show do you like?
What TV show?
I guess so. What morning show?
I'm going to tell you what TV show. You know what I'm watching now, which is actually good. I usually don't like grit, and this is very gritty, is Night Of on HBO. It's actually a great show.
Right.
All I do is I wait for Veep. Veep comes, I inhale it with such gusto.
Do you watch Homeland?
Goes away. Yeah, I watch Homeland. It hasn't started yet.
No.
I watch Homeland. I'm all caught up. But Veep is the greatest thing on television. So until Veep comes back, I'm watching all the other things as fillers, as replacement television.
Lisa Little Max.
But I'm looking for another series. So if anyone's got a great series out there, throw it out there.
There's that. There's this thing on Amazon that's like a Holocaust, like the Nazis. Okay. Anyway, Lisa Little Maxwell says this story shows that perseverance pays off. Thanks for the encouragement, Jenna. Tony Kendall says, tell Jenna this is a good story. Sometimes I get discouraged when I don't get a job I apply for.
Listen, and I will say this, Tony and everyone else. Every no, there's a reason why you get no's in life. I am so sure of it. That every single time you get told no, there is a reason why. And that means something different or something better is going to happen. I am 100% positive.
Yeah, like an important thing in sort of when you're going up against a lot of this is actually to combine it with baseball. Baseball's a game of failure. The best baseball players
are still under 5.
They're hitting 250, 300. Okay, the best guys in the world are hitting 300. That means they're successful 30% of the time.
Correct.
Baseball's a game where you get used to dealing with failure. if you get hired 1 out of 70 times, it doesn't matter. You got hired that one time. It's not like you don't have to hit 1,000% on your job applications.
Correct.
You just have to hit 1 out of whatever
to be right, and
be
you're successful.
Right,
Right, but also there are a lot of people that they crawl into like a hole of negativity and depression when they're told no for whatever reason, not just a job interview, and they want to, I don't know, they're negotiating something, they lose something on eBay, they put any no that you get. Go and think back to all the times you were told no. You obviously survived them. What happened? Something different, something better. Life is sliding doors. One of the greatest, like most mind-boggling concepts that you can imagine, which is every single choice, every single decision, every single thing that happens to you, every single experience that you come across in your entire life leads you to another one and another and another. If you're going down 54th, then you could go straight, but you make a left and you happen to run into your old college sweetheart and you leave your husband for them and life changes. But what if you didn't make that left? What if you went straight? Something different would have happened. Like, you know, I can give you 1,000 examples. You know, I was to get a job at Channel 2 and I didn't get the job and I was crushed and I was like, this is the worst thing ever. Instead, I got a job at MSG, which I didn't want to work at MSG. I figured, forget it. I stink. I could have done a job at CBS, but what happened? I was only there for like a year and then Channel 7 hired me, a much better station. I never even would have had that opportunity had I taken the first job, but I've 1,000 examples just like that. So use the no's and know that the no's mean something. There's a reason why the door closed, or there was a reason why you didn't get what you thought you were going to get, or there's a reason why someone cut in front of you and got the last 2 tickets to the show. Maybe when you get in a cab and you go somewhere else, you end up with an experience you never in a million years would have had you not taken that, you know, taken advantage of that opportunity. So my point is, use all of that to your advantage, because I promise you, there is a reason for every time you're told no in life.
Christy says, I've lost 25 pounds, but I've been stuck for so long. I spin, dance, work out, and watch what I eat. It's not moving anymore. Should I now go with a trainer? I do need a ton of protein. I can't figure it out. I want to and need to lose 30 more pounds.
So you've obviously hit a plateau, and so what you're doing isn't working, so you need to change what you're doing. It is the basic principle of life. If you do nothing, nothing changes, right? So if you keep doing the same thing all the time, and you're eating the same foods, and you're working out the same way, and you're moving the same way, and nothing is changing on the scale, well, then you need to eat different foods, move different ways, and get yourself off of that plateau. So if you spin and you dance right now, why don't you change it up a little bit? Add some strength training in, maybe do like a boot camp class, something a little bit different. I don't know if it's a moral reason why you're not eating protein, but if you don't eat a lot of protein, try to eat some protein. Try to get your metabolic rate up a little bit and see if that helps. Drink more water. You need to change things up. The people that come to me and they're like, well, I run 3 miles every single day. I don't know why I'm not losing. Because your body gets used to it. Your body is no different than anything else. It only wants to do the least amount of work possible to give you the most, you know, the biggest advantage, right? It just wants to make you happy. So it doesn't want to work that hard. So if you take a spin class and you've been spinning 3-4 days a week, every week for months, your body knows exactly what it needs to do, exactly what the output needs to be for it to just get you where you need to be, right? So you're not going to change. Your body's not going to change anymore. Surprise it, shock it, use muscles you've never used, do something a little bit different, and you'd be surprised how quickly you jump off that plateau.
Time flew. I didn't realize I lost track of time. Let's get Sonia on.
All right.
Sonia, come on.
Are we gonna?
We're gonna keep this camera live.
Okay.
We can go live here. I'm gonna on these. Let's just jump. You guys can talk a little bit, like sort of.
Okay, but I like to have I want to have like a 5-second break.
You want to take a 5-second break?
Yes.
Okay, she's
just
taking a 5-second break. Say hello to Sonia.
Hi.
Hi,
So
Sonia.
I'm so sorry to keep waiting.
No, you didn't wait at all. I just want to make sure that I got.
Just get this.
How are you?
1 second. I'm
Good.
working.